So now we're moving on to chapter 4. Chapter 4 for pre-calc 11, okay? So this is like lesson number 1, section 4A, okay? So it's like a preliminary lesson to what you're going to be learning in chapter 4, okay? Or chapter 3 and 4 together, okay? So let's call this section like lesson 3A. 3A, lesson number 1. And this lesson is about factoring trinomials, okay? Now, in case you don't know what factoring is about, it's the opposite of foiling. Let's write this down. It's the opposite of foiling, okay? So here's an example, okay? Let's say you're given an equation like, I'll just put it right up here, like 2x plus 1 times 3x minus 4, okay? So FOIL means that I'll just write this out. FOIL means you multiply this out by f means first. So you take the first from both brackets, like 2x times 3x is like 6x squared. O means outside, so you take the outside terms. So 2x and negative 4 gives you minus 8x. The I means inside, so 1 times 3x is plus 3x. And then L means the last two terms, so like the 1 and negative 4. So you multiply, you get minus 4. And so when you simplify this, it becomes 6x squared minus 5x minus 4. Okay? So to go from like the two brackets to what's down here, it's called foiling. But if you want to go backwards, like from a trinomial back to two binomials, this is called factoring. Okay? And factoring is useful for solving for x. Okay, so this whole section now is about how do you factor a trinomial. It's called a trinomial because you have three terms, 1, 2, and 3, back to a product of two binomials. Okay, so that's the whole lesson. Here we go. So factoring trinomials. Okay, in this section you'll be factoring trinomials where the coefficient of x squared is not equal to 1. Here's what I mean. So you see how usually this number is 1 and it makes it easy to factor. So from now on, they're not going to be equal to 1 anymore. You can have a number in front, okay? It could be like 2, 3, or a fraction, or decimal, it doesn't matter, okay? And you're going to learn how to factor these, okay? So you can't factor the 3 like the previous, what you learned before. Meaning like, sometimes you get nice ones like 3x squared plus 6x plus like maybe like 12. And then since this is a 3, you can factor the 3 because they're all like factors of 3. You get like 3 and then x squared plus 2x plus 4. So this is what I mean by it's not this easy anymore. You can't do this because 3, 13, and 4, you don't have a common factor. Okay? And here's some other ones like, this is an 8, and then you can't factor the 8 because the other two numbers in the equation don't have a factor of 8. Okay? So anyways, so this lesson is all about, hey, how do you factor these? Okay? So there's 3 different ways you're going to learn, okay? The first method is called the BUM method, B-U-M, okay? Some people call it the bottoms up method. I just like to think of it as, this is like the BUM method. Okay, this is methods for people who don't like math. Who are going to go into like, I don't know, trades or something else that is like math or science related. Which means that eventually you become a... Okay, anyways, let's just move on from that, okay? So anyways, this is the easiest, the straightforward method. It's a bit long. And if I have a student that don't like math, people that hate math, I'll be like, okay, don't worry, just use the BUM method, okay? It's the easiest one, okay? Anyways, so if you don't like math, just highlight this, okay? But honestly, it just depends on who you have as a teacher in the future, okay? If your teacher says, no, you can't use this, then you know what? Might as well learn the other two. Okay, so here's the second one, okay? The second method is called the Criss Cross Method. In some places, they call it the Asian Criss Cross Method. Asian Criss Cross Method. And the reason why it's called that is because it's fast. Because it's super fast. It's like cheap and easy. It's like Chinese food, okay? So the Criss Cross Method is fast, quick with numbers. It's a bit hard, okay? You have to be somewhat good with numbers in order to use the Criss Cross Method. There's also the Canadian version, which is kind of like a bit easier to work with. If you want, I can show you that too. And then you have the last one. So the grouping method is basically what's taught in Canada. It's a standard textbook method, okay? It's the only one, for some people that actually makes sense. Makes sense, okay? The only problem is it's not really a problem. You just have to be good with algebra, okay? Anyways, there's 3 methods. We're going to go through all 3, and I would advise you to learn all 3 if you can. I like using the Criss Cross method, not just because I'm Asian, just because, you know, I'm pretty fast. It's just easy for me. Okay. But if you already know this, good for you. And anyhow, we're just going to go through all 3. Here we go. First one, this is the bum method, okay? So I'm going to show you this bum method, and if you've never seen it before, don't be alarmed, okay? Just bear with me for now. Okay, so, and it doesn't make sense for some people, okay? And if you have time, I'll show you why this method works. First step is this, okay? You look at the first number here, this is an 8. And so mathematically, a lot of people will be like, no, you lost me, I don't get it. Anyhow, so the first step is you take the 8 and you multiply with a 3. Okay, that's the first step. So the 8, you multiply with the 3 in the back, and then the 8 disappears then, okay? So there's no more 8. So it becomes a 1. So x squared minus 14x. And this 3, you multiply by 8, becomes 24, okay? So again, this makes no sense for most people, okay? And what I'll do is when I have time, I'll show you why this method works, okay? Anyhow, so this is the first step. The next step after this is, okay, I want you to factor this now, okay? As if it was like an actual math question, just this part, okay? So 2 numbers that multiply to 24, but adds to negative 14, okay? So when you factor this number as it is, this expression as it is, you get x minus 12 times x minus 2, okay? In case you're wondering where I got these numbers, 12 times 2, or negative 12 times negative 2 is 24, and then negative 12 plus negative 2 is negative 14, okay? So from this step on, okay, most people can do this. Most grade 11 students can do this easily, okay? And if you can't, we'll have to talk. Okay, but we're not done yet, okay? So the number you moved to the back was 8. So with this bum method, what you have to do now is you gotta bring that 8 back in front of each of these x's. So you get this, okay? 8x minus 12 and 8x minus 2. And so with the bum method now is you look at each of these brackets and you wanna get rid of the greatest common factor. Like literally just bum it out, like you get rid of it. So you look at 8 and 12, so 8 and 12, your greatest common factor is 4. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna divide this whole thing by 4. Just divide it. So you get like 8x divided by 4 is 2x, 12 divided by 4 is 3, so minus 3 because it's negative, okay? And then you look at the next bracket, you know, 8 and 2, so 8 and 2, your greatest common factor is 2. So I'm going to bum out the 2. So then you get like 8x divided by 2 is 4x, 2 divided by 2 is 1, so minus 1, and that's it. This is the bum method, okay? So hopefully, you know, you remember the steps. You bring the first number to the back, you multiply it, you factor if it was like just a trinomial like this. After you factor it, you bring the number that you brought to the back in front of each of the x's, and then last step is you just bum out any common factors in each binomial, okay? Like you bum out the greatest common factor, that's it. And in case you're wondering, is this actually correct? Okay, let's just FOIL this. 2x times 4x is 8x squared. Okay, that's first. Outside is 2x times negative 1 is minus 2x. Negative 3 times 4x is minus 12x. And then it gives you minus 4. And there we go. Minus 14x. Oops, sorry. This is plus 3, my bad. So plus 3. So it works. Okay. So anyways, what I want you to know is just try one of them. Just try this one. Okay? And I'll skip this in this video just because I don't have a lot of time. So pause the video right now. Try both of these if you can. Okay? Alright, so here's the bum method. I'm going to take this 15. Okay, multiply with the negative 4, so you get x squared plus 4x minus 60. Okay? So 2 numbers that multiply negative 60 adds to positive 4. And if you're good with factoring, you know it's going to be x plus 10, then x minus 6. Alright? So again, we're not done here, okay? You got to bring the 15 back. So 15x plus 10, and then 15x minus 6. Okay, so greatest common factor here is 5. So you get 3x plus 2. Greatest common factor here is 3. And so you get 5x minus 2. And that's it, we're done. Okay, so I'm going to skip this one. Let's move on. Alright, here's the grouping method. Okay, so what this grouping method is, I'm going to start with this, continue with this one because I'll save the best for last, okay? So grouping method, the way it works is kind of similar, okay? You take this 8, you take the 3 and you multiply them, okay? So you do this. 8 times 3, you multiply it, but you don't bring it back anywhere. Just think of it as 8 times 3 is 24. And again, what you do now is, when you look at 24, what two numbers multiply 24 and adds to 14, okay? So you know that, hey, let's list them out. So 2 times 12 is 24, negative 2, negative 12, 6 and 4. And only this pair actually adds to 14. So what I'll do then is, you see this 14x? So 14x then becomes 2x plus 12x, okay? You just take the 14x and you split it as a sum of two separate terms. So you get this, okay? Anyways, just skip all that. So 14x, it becomes 2x plus 12x, okay? And a lot of people ask, well, which one do you put in front and which one do you put in back? Honestly, it doesn't really matter, okay? Just put the 2x in front and 12x in the back. If you switch them, it actually still works, okay? And if you want, I can show you. So I'll put the 2x in front, 12x in the back, and I'm going to bracket them like this, okay? And what you notice is you're actually doing the same thing as the bond method. In a way, you look at 8x squared and 2x, you want to factor out the greatest common factor now, okay? So I'll put brackets around them, okay? So 8x squared and 2x, your greatest common factor is 2x. So you get like 2x in front, and then you get 4x plus 1. And over here, with the 12x and the 3, your greatest common factor is 3. So you factor out the 3, so you get 4x plus 1 as well. And with the bond method, this is the crucial step, is that these two brackets, they have to be exactly the same. If they're not, then something's wrong, okay? And the reason why it's called the grouping method is because here's one group and there's another group, okay? These two groups are the same. So therefore, you factor out the groups. Like, you factor the 4x plus 1. So this is gone, and that's also gone. And so what's left? So you have a 2x over here, you have a 3 there, and that's it, okay? So it'll be 4x plus 1 times 2x plus 3. So again, if you want to check it, just for it quickly. I'll just do it right away. 8x squared, whoops, plus 12x, plus 2x, plus 3. So there you go, it works. And the question again is, hey, so what happens if I switch the two terms, okay? Let's say if you had a brain fart. Let's continue from here. Like, let's say you have 8x squared plus 12x first, and then plus the 2x, and then plus the 3. So what I'll do is, hey, let's say if I switch them, okay? Again, the steps are still the same. You look at the two terms, and you factor the greatest common factor. So right now, you see how it's like going to be 4x, right? And then so this becomes 2x and plus 3 plus 2x plus 3. And what you notice is if there's nothing in front, then that's a 1 there, okay? You have to put a 1 if there's nothing in front. So you look at two brackets, they're also the same. So that means that everything's done right. So factor the 2x, which is this bracket, in the same group. And then you get 4x, that's left from the first term. And then a plus sign over there, and a 1. And what you notice is, hey, they're the same, but it's switched back and forth. And the reason why that occurs is because the 2x and the 12x is switched back and forth. Okay, so again, you factor it. Let's do a practice, okay? So just do the first one, okay, pause it, and then watch the video. If you want to do the second one, you can go online and look at the PowerPoint, okay? So I'm going to pause it right now. Okay, so here we go. With the 4 and the 15, this is negative 15, okay? So you multiply these two, you get negative 60, okay? So what two numbers multiplied in negative 60 adds to the middle term, which is 4, okay? So negative 60, you get like 10 times negative 6. You get also like negative 10 times 6. And then you see how this pair actually adds to give you 4, right? So therefore, you don't have to worry about any other ones, okay? So that means that with the 4x, you have to break it as 10x and then minus 6x, okay? Or you can go like negative 6x first and then plus 10x, up to you, okay? I generally try to keep the positive in front. It doesn't really matter. So 4x squared plus 10x, and then you go minus 6x minus 15, okay? Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bracket the first two terms and the last two terms, but you have to be careful because when you bracket the first two terms, it's actually pretty easy, okay? But when you bracket the last two terms, let's say you put a minus sign here, put a bracket, because this is a minus sign, and this is 15, this term over here has to be a plus. Okay, because when you expand it, like negative sign times 6x is negative, negative times a positive 15 is negative. So this has to be a plus sign, okay? Just be mindful of that. After this, factor the greatest common factor. 4 and 10 is 2, so 2x. So you get 2x plus 5. And over here minus, so between these two you get 3 and then 2x plus 5. You look at the two brackets, they're actually the same, so the groups are the same. So factor the 2x plus 5. And then you're left with 2x, which is from this, and then minus 3. Alright? I'm not sure if you want me to do it if it was like switched back around. If you want, I'll just do it quickly. So 4x squared minus 6x plus 10x minus 15. So since this is a plus sign, when you group them, just group them like this. So you don't have to worry about, the minus sign like before, okay? So this again becomes 2x minus 3 plus 5, and then you get 2x minus 3. So again, the two groups are the same, so 2x minus 3, and then you end up with 2x plus 5 that's left over. Okay, again, you see how 2x minus 3, 2x minus 3, 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 5. Okay, here we go. The last one, the Criss Cross Method. Okay, so before I start this, okay, just give yourself a bit of a stretch. Okay, so this one is actually difficult for most people, and the problem with the Criss Cross Method is it's good for people who are fast. I like it. Okay, if you're good at math, you should definitely use this. Okay, so what you do then is you look at the first number, right, 72, and you want to pick two numbers that multiply to 72, and you want to start off with two numbers that are closer to each other as much as possible. Okay, so pick two numbers that multiply the first term at 72. So I picked 8 and 9 because they're the closest numbers that multiply to 72. Okay, and same thing with negative 6. I picked negative 3 and 2 because one of them has to be negative. So you can multiply. So what you do now is you pick these numbers, you pick those numbers, and you want to find a way to crisscross them to multiply and add to get you 11, right? So for example, I can go 8 times negative 3 is negative 24, 9 times 2 is 18, and when then you add these numbers you get negative 6. It doesn't give you 11. Okay, so what you do then is you just continue. Okay, so I'll go 8, 9, negative 3, and 2, and so instead of multiplying sideways, I go diagonally. 8 times 2 is 16, 9 times 2 is negative 27, and if you combine this, it gives you negative 11. Okay, so you look at it now, it's pretty close. This is negative, but that's positive. Okay, so I don't want this set, so I'm going to switch numbers. I go 8 and 9, and then instead of negative 3, I go positive 3, and instead of positive 2, I put negative 2, and I'm going to do the same thing. 9 times 3 is 27, 8 times negative 2 is negative 16, and if you combine them, it gives you 11. So this is the same as the middle term. So what that means is I want this set. Okay, I want this set. So how do you make your brackets now? Okay, so you see the 8 and 9, they're on the left. Those are going to be the numbers in front. So 8x and 9x. Okay, and then you see these two numbers, like the 3 and negative 2, they go in the back. Okay, but the only problem is if you multiply the numbers together, they can't be in the same brackets. Okay, I hope you hear that. So you see how the 3 is timesing the 9? That means that 3 can't go here because it's timesing the 9. So that means the 3 has to go here. And this is positive, you go plus 3. The negative 2 is timesing the 8, so it can't be in the first bracket, so you have to minus 2 like that. It must be in the other bracket. And that's it. You're done. Okay, so this is the Criss Cross Method, okay? And again, if you want to check it, 72x squared plus 27x minus 16x minus 6, it gives you about that, okay? And the reason why this works is, this is the Canadian version where they draw a box, okay? So it's like this. You know that, hey, 72x squared is over here, 72x squared minus 6 is over here, and you know that these two terms, like these two squares, will add up to give you 11x. So it's kind of like doing the same thing. So you go 8x and 9x, right? And then you get to decide where do I put like factors of 2, so 2 and 3. So you can put like the 3 here if you like, and then the 2 there if you like, and then you would get like 18x and 24x. It doesn't give you 11, so then you cross it off, and then you try again. Okay, oops, okay, nice. Okay, so then I will put like the 2 down here, and the 3 over there. Okay, so again, this becomes like 27x. This is like 16x, but one of them has to be negative, so this is negative, that's negative. So this gives you 11x. Therefore, your binomials will be 8x plus 3 times 9x minus 2. The same thing, alright? So if you can, try this one here now, okay? And this is so fast, why don't you just do both of them, okay? So pause this lesson now. Here we go. Try these two. Alright, hopefully you had some time to try these two, okay? So I'll do the first one. So 8 is like 2 and 4. So 15 is like 5 and 3, okay? And then since the middle term is negative, that means that these two terms should also be negative, okay? So you can see how quickly that, hey, this is 20, this is 6, so therefore that gives you negative 26, which is what you want. The two left terms will be like 2x and 4x, okay? So now you gotta figure out what to put in the back. The 4 is timesing the negative 5, so that, therefore the negative 5 cannot be in the same bracket with the 4. So you're gonna go minus 5 and then minus 3, and that's it. Super fast. Okay, the 6 is like 3 and 2, 5 is like 5 and 1, and then since the 17 is negative, so you put the negative and negative, okay? And so 3 times 5 is negative 15, 2 times 1 is negative 2, hey, also gives you negative 17. Pretty much done. So again, bracket, bracket, bracket. 3 and 2 go in front, so 3x, 2x. The negative 5 can't be in the same bracket with negative 3, so minus 5 and then minus 1. That's it. Okay, so some teachers would dislike this because they think it's, you know, too fast or doesn't make sense. I don't mind it, so depending on who you have as a teacher next year, just ask them what they prefer, okay? Anyways, yeah, here are 2 challenge ones, okay? So I'll put this up, and I'll pause this, and I'll let you try them, okay? Oops, pause. Alright, hopefully you had some time to try these two. So the first one, you see how before you do any factoring, you know, you notice how they're all multiples of 5. So I factor the 5 first. Okay, so you get 3x squared, 13x, and 4, right? So again, now I'm going to try and factor this. So ignore the 5 for now, okay? So you have a 3 here, so 3 and 1. And I'm going to use a crisscross. It's up to you whichever one you want to use, okay? Just crisscross because I don't have a lot of time left. So this is 4, so 4 and 1. Since you're minusing, so they're both negative. So find a way to create negative 13. So 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. 1 times 1 is negative 1. That gives me negative 13. Therefore, here's the 5. 2 brackets. A 3 and 1, so like 3x and 1x. So since the 3 is timesing negative 4, so negative 4 has to go here, and then minus 1. There you go, that's it. Second one, it's challenging because it's not x squared and x anymore, so x to the power 4 and x squared. It's pretty much the same thing, because when you factor this out, you have like an x squared here and x squared there, okay? So instead of just an x only. Oops, can't erase. Forget. So 4 and 1, and then, or 2 and 2, up to you, whatever you like. And then with 18, I'll just go like 6 and 3, okay? So you get like 24, and you get 1. Hey, it may actually work. So I'm gonna make, so this is minus, and then you need to see how the 18 is negative. That means one of these must be negative, so I'll put negative 6 and positive 3. So this gives me negative 24 and positive 1, and that actually gives me negative, oh sorry, it's 3, gives you negative 21. So that actually works. So 4x squared, 1x squared, 4 is times the negative 6, so you put the negative 6 over here, and you put the plus 3 there. Okay, that's it. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so I'm going to stop now, okay? There's actually still one more slide. So what you want to do is, if you can, go online and finish the lesson, you know, on your own. Okay, have a good day, and hope I feel better soon. Bye-bye.